Chapter 9 of the book An Immortal's Quest for Soma. This chapter is titled as Homa in a Stone. Ashvatthama entered the world of Achaemenid stone. Darius stood there, Xerxes stood there, Ahura Mazda stood above kings. Royal inscriptions did not give everything, but they gave something precious. Public world fixed in material. He found Ahura Mazda named clearly in Achaemenid royal inscriptions. He found the imperial god of Persian king invoked as creator, giver of kinship, protector of order. Here was not merely a memory in a later manuscript. Here was a stone. He also found references connected to Homa in Old Persian context, especially the famous list in which certain Scythian or Saka group are described through their relation to Homa. The exact interpretation of the phrase has been discussed, translated, and argued over. But for Ashvatthama's inquiry, one point mattered. Homa was not merely a late fantasy. A Homa related designation was visible in the imperial world of the BCE period, but it was visible in Iran and not in India. He made the note precise. In the old Persian record, Homa did not appear as a long theological sermon. It appeared most clearly inside the ethnic designation, usually transcribed as Saka Homa Varga or Saka Homa Varga. The phrase is known from royal inscription list associated with Darius, Xerxes, and Artaxerxes III, with a related restored reading in another Darius inscription. Translation often rendered it as a Homa-eating or Homa-consuming Scythian or Iranian steppe group associated with the northwestern frontier of the empire. This was important for two reasons. First, Homa had a stronger material foothold than Soma in the early inscriptional record. Second, the evidence was still not a botanical identification. It did not say whether the substance was ephedra, cannabis, harmala, opium, or mixture or something else. It marked the people through Homa. It did not solve the chemistry of Homa. He also wrote a warning beside the word opium. Opium was well known and used in the ancient world, with strong evidence from Egypt and the Greco-Roman world, and with the plausible route through West Asia, Central Asia, and Persian contact zone. Yet the old Persian inscription material does not directly identify Homa with opium. That silence itself mattered to him. A powerful intoxicant may have been protected by vagueness because many people in any age would oppose intoxicant, while ritual specialists, warriors, healer, or secret circles might still preserve them. This became one of Ashvatthama's simplest working theories. Homa may have named, concealed, or dignified an opium linked practice in some circle without publicly declaring opium as the sacred substance. The ambiguity would protect the substance from moral opposition and also protect priestly or initiatory control. Once the name becomes vague, a non-intoxicating and less controversial substitute such as ephedra could stand in ritual place for communities uncomfortable with the stronger cup. This did not require every Homa drinker to use opium. It required only a layered culture, one remembered substance, one public name, several local substitutions, and a priestly language capable of keeping this door half open. Homa in this reading was not only a plant, it was a projected category. This did not solve the identity of the plant, but it changed the hierarchy of evidence. In India, he had not found a comparable BCE inscription saying Soma. In Iran, he found Homa's shadow in royal geography. Yet the Avesta itself remained difficult. The written compilation known to history was much later strongly associated with the Sasanian period and the need to organize Zoroastrian tradition. Oral materials may be older, some probably were, but oral antiquity is a mystery kingdom. It can preserve and it can also be used to project. Ashvatthama wrote, Avesta has stronger archaeological hooks than Veda, but its final textual body is also late. He turned further back, Assyria, Mitanni, Hittites, and the larger ancient Near East. Assyria worshipped many gods Asur, Ishtar, Samas, Adad, Nabu, and others. Their world has royal theology, cosmic order, divine kingship, and imperial symbolism. Iranian religion did not grow in a vacuum. No religion does. Ahura Mazda may have observed, transformed, or competed with Near Eastern ideas or high god, wisdom, light, and royal order. Mitanni offered another clue. It was not Indian, it was not Iranian in the latter sense, it was a Hurrian kingdom with an Indo-Aryan letter visible in names, horse training terms and treaty gods, Mitra, Varuna, Indra, names that later Indian would call Vedic, stood there in a foreign political document. This did not prove that Rig Veda was written there, it did not prove that Soma was drunk there, but it proved that parts of later Vedic divine vocabulary had a life outside the Indian story. A timeline began forming in Ashvatthama's notebook. Mitanni Treaty World, 2nd millennium BCE, divine names echoing later Vedic tradition. Achaemenid inscriptions, 1st millennium BCE, Ahura Mazda and Homa related groups visible in stone. Zarathustra, perhaps near the early 1st millennium BCE or closer to Buddha in some reconstruction, but not directly named in Achaemenid royal inscriptions, unlike Buddha, who is directly mentioned in Mauryan Empire inscription. Avesta, older oral layers possible, but major written organization much later, especially during Sasanian or 500 Common Era. Veda, celebrated as ancient but archaeologically elusive in early India. Pattern was not simple. It was not India copied Iran or Iran copied India. It was more unsettling. Perhaps both Veda and Avesta were late textual crystallization of older floating materials. Mitanni-like names, Iranian rituals, Central Asian plants, priestly ambition, royal politics, and memory. Ashvatthama closed the notebook. If Homa had a stone and Soma had silence, the silence had to be interrogated. The Achaemenid inscription impressed Ashvatthama because they possessed the confidence of empire. The king speaks, the god approves, the lands are listed, the rivals are named, order descends from above. A stone makes the claim difficult to ignore. He had seen this stone in many ages. Rome used it, the British used it, modern states use it with flags, seals, and televised ceremonies. Umpires always writes as if grammar itself favors the ruler. Ahura Mazda's presence in stone gave Zoroastrian memory a public anchor. Yet Ashvatthama noticed something important. Royal inscriptions are not religious book. They tell what kings needed to say, not everything people believed. The absence of Zarathustra from them did not prove he never existed, but it did prevent easy certainty. This was the balance he wanted in the book, not mainstream caution as surrender, but evidentiary discipline as sharpened suspicion. Evidence could support alternate views better than blind assertion could. The Homa related Saka reference fascinated him because it joined plant, people, and geography. A tribe could be named by what it consumed. This suggested not merely an isolated ritual but a cultural marker. Whether the exact friend meant homa-drinking, homa-preparing, or something more debated, it still placed homa in the world of ethical description, ethnic description, and imperial classification. A plant can become an identity. Wine this did for Dionysian worlds. Bread and wine did this for Christianity. Tea did this for empires and household. Coffee did this for conversation. Bhang did this for holy and Shiva. Opium did this for certain warriors and hospitality cultures. Homa may have done it for the Iranian or Saka group. Then he returned to Mitanni. The divine names there were like the fossils found in Wrong Valley. They did not match nationalist map that made them valuable. Ashvatthama imagined the Mitanni court, Hurrian speech in the palace, Akkadian tablets in diplomacy, Indo-Aryan names in horse training, gods invoked as witness, chariots, treaties, marriages, betrayals, not India, not Iran, a frontier of mixture. Mixture again. The ancient world was not a set of pure nations waiting to become modern countries. It was a wave of roots, elites, language, captives, wives, craftsmen, horse, teens, lapis, grains, and gods. Modern pride projects clean border backward onto a world that lived by exchange and violence. This mattered for Soma because a plant cult could have moved in exactly such a world, not through a single migration myth alone, but through ritual specialists, warriors, traders, and intermarried elites. A sacred drinks may have been translated, renamed, or repurposed many times before becoming haom. End of chapter 9.